Caddo Lake is the movie on Max. And this movie takes place in an area that's like a swamp area in the bayou. I think it's like Louisiana or Alabama, okay? Or Georgia, but it's in like a bayou swamp type of area. And the movie takes place in mainly in two different time frames. One time frame is in 1995, and that revolves around the male character, who's played by the actor from the Maze Runner movies. Dylan O'Brien, I think, is the guy's name. I'm not sure. And there is a new actress. She's a really most of the film revolves around her. I think her real name, this actress's name in real life, is called Eliza, and her last name starts with an S. She is a great actress. This is the first film I see her in. So it's about this girl, and she has a little sister who's a stepsister who was born from a different father. Okay? And she takes the sister out on the bayou on the boat, right? But one day, the little sister follows the big sister, right? Sneaks out and follows the little big sister out into the bayou. Big sister comes back, little sister doesn't. So they go out looking for the little girl. Come to find out that when they go deep into this bayou, alright? When they go deep into this bayou, there's a time loop, okay? This time loop takes them into three timelines, okay? 1992, 2022, 1992, right? 2022, 1992, and like 1951, all right? So this girl is searching that area so the environment of the movie plays a huge role. The environment in this movie, the first hour, they introduce you to all the little details, right, of this bayou in 2022. But then we go back to 1992, right, when this bayou is being cleared out of all the garbage and everything, okay? And we figure out the male characters in 1992, right? And the male character starts going deep into the bayou and searching, and guess who he comes across? He comes across that lost little girl from 2022. Okay, the girl who got lost in 2022, all right, gets found in 1992, 20 years before. All right? And I'm going to go into the twist of the movie. I'm going to talk about the ending. So if you haven't seen the movie, this is the point to turn off the video, because I'm going to talk about the twist. All right? 3, 2, 1. I'm going to talk about the twist. The guy who finds the little girl, right? The guy in 1992 who finds the little girl in 2022. When he decides to go back to his boat, the portal that had these two characters meet takes this dude to 1951. And he hands off the girl when he finds the little girl who's injured. He hands her off to a couple of guys working in the bayou in this factory. There was a factory that ends up being abandoned, right, after the 50s. And when he goes back in time, he goes back to the 50s when that factory's still working. And there's a group of guys in a truck who find him with the injured girl, take the injured girl to get taken care of. When he goes back on his, tries to go back to the area where his boat is from the 1950s, right? The dude ends up in 2022. All right. Meanwhile, her big sister went deep into the bayou into 1992. So they switched their timelines, and the big sister starts to look up the little sister, because the big sister starts to piece together that the little sister ended up in this other time frame. And she finds out that the little sister ended up through a library. She starts searching through a library, finds the little sister, that the little sister had ended up there in the 1950s, had lived her own life, and had ended up dying in 1999. So she was never able to meet the little sister older, right? So this was like a dark, almost like a bad dream, because the end of this movie, but what happens is the little sister ends up being lost in time. All right? But not really, because the little sister ends up being the big sister's grandmother. Right? So her mother would have never been born. She would have never been born if the little sister had never gone back in time. All right? And lived her own life, had her own kids. That's what I thought. That was the end of the movie. The little sister ended up being the little stepsister with a different father, ended up being the grandmother because she went back in time. And I also have to talk about the acting in this movie, because this movie has great acting. And not only from the main actress, right? The one who the movie revolves around. But also the mother. Because the whole movie, the mother is like acting really crazy. And you're like, oh my God, why are the mother and the daughter, they have this such a toxic relationship? And it has to do with the fact that the father disappears out of nowhere, because he dies in 2022 when the cops are chasing him. They think that he has something to do with the missing little girl. He ends up jumping off a bridge, and the dam breaks while he's jumping off the bridge, and he ends up dying in 2022. Meanwhile, in 1992, when the little girl, the big sister, is a baby, she runs into herself and the mother in 1992, and the mother's going crazy. Where's my baby daddy? Where's my baby daddy? He just disappeared out of nowhere. And it's because he died. He went into a portal and died in 2022. I mean, this movie is a great movie. It's a time travel movie, but it's unlike any other time travel movie you've ever seen, because it reminds me, if anybody has seen the show Dark on Netflix, It's about people walking into the middle of nowhere, like in From, walking into a portal and they're in some other time and some other place. It's very Twilight Zone. If you love the Twilight Zone, you'll love this movie. But check it out. It's number 1 on Max right now for a reason. All right? It's an awesome movie.